Hello everyone, my name is Christine G and I am going to be going over this problem. Sorry about that. The numbers change all the time, but for now it's problem number 6, 11.2.3-T. And we are given some information that the differences are normally distributed and to compute parts A through D. And here we have observations for X1 and Y1. And you'll notice that um, this is the first one, second, third, so forth. So here it's asking us to determine the difference for each selected pair. So, and then input that here. And you can see I got that wrong. And here are the correct answers right here. So you could do that by hand by saying, okay, 44 point, this is 44 minus 47.1, that is negative 3.1. And 55 minus 54.6 and get all of this. But what I like to do is go into StatCrunch, and I'm fine with you doing that part by hand. That's not such a big deal, but I'm going to do it in here. So I go into data and then compute and then expression. And then I'm going to say x1 minus y1. So those are my columns, x1 minus y1. And then I'm just going to label it D. Oops. To hit D. And then I'm going to compute those. And then you'll see, voila, it's right here. And then you can see the numbers are the same for the differences. So you just have to put those in here or do it by hand. Find whatever way you want to go. Then the next thing it's asking is to compute the average difference and the standard deviation for the difference. So here I'm going to go into stat and then summary stats and then columns. And then we're going to look at the differences, and then we're going to compute. We just need the mean and the standard deviation, so we could just pick those two if we want to, or we can do all of them. It doesn't matter. So here we have the mean. It says negative, let me move it over, and it says round to 3 decimal places, so it's negative 2.263. And I'm going to check that. All right. And then the standard deviation was also computed, so that's just 3 decimal places, so 2.016. Oh, 6. And then check the answer on that. Okay, good. So now we're on to the next one. So what are the correct null and alternative hypotheses? So here, the null has to be that the differences are equal or that they equal 0. So the only null, so it's always h naught or this h sub 0, that we see like that would be this one. So I'm going to go with that one. And then we'll notice that the differences are negative, so that makes sense that the average and the would be going to the left. So let's check that out. Okay, we're looking good so far. Now to calculate the p-value, I recommend let's do that in StatCrunch. Definitely, I don't recommend that you do it outside of StatCrunch. So stat, and then this is a set of we want to look at t-stats because we're talking about mu or the so we definitely want to look at it as a t-statistic, and then we're going to go with paired. And paired because we're looking at the differences individually, so these two are matched up, these two are matched up, and so on and so forth. So they are paired together. So x1 is the first observation, and then y1 is the second one. And then we have the hypothesis, which is the mean, or the mu d, which is the population mean differences, is 0. And then we have that that is less than 0. And we set that up earlier over here. We can't see it. So let's go ahead and compute that out. And then we've got our p-value, and it says round to 3 decimal places, so that would be 0.008. So let's get that in there and see if we're on the right track. All right, that looks good. And then choose the correct conclusion below. So this is a very small p-value. So we would, so it's way out in the tail. And so it's, but this is less than 0. So that would be out in the tail. So we would reject because this is very far out in the tail, and we are looking at 0.05, and this is much lower than that significance level. So we would reject the null hypothesis. So let's see, let's check our answer. Okay. And then here, compute a 95% confidence interval about the population mean difference. So here we can do that easily in StatCrunch. We can start over and go in Stat and do it all, or we could just go like this, edit, and then here we're looking for 95% confidence interval, and so I'm going to go ahead and compute that. And so the lower limit and the upper limit. So let me put those in there. So we've got the lower bound. Okay, we've got about 2 decimal places. So negative 3.95. And then the upper bound is negative 0.577. Oh, I went too many. Okay, so let's see how we're looking at that. All right, so that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please email me anytime. cgee@snu.edu. Have a great day, and let me know if you have any questions.